YBM had been doing a remarkable religious work here in this country to enlighten the public and to wipe out misconceptions and wrong interpretations, and also to create some sort of awakening amongst the Buddhist community in this country. We really appreciate the effort made by mostly young Buddhists. Tonight, you have invited me to talk on the origin of the man. This is a very big problem. Up to the end of this world, we go on discussing, arguing this subject, but we will never come to any conclusion regarding this question. The whole world is divided into three groups regarding this issue. One group says, man and the world and everything were created by a God. Easy to understand, there is nothing to study. Very simple. Another group says, this existence of life and the world is coincidentally taken place, not planned or created by anybody. And there is no first cause for that. Mostly rationalists, scientists, free thinkers, and so many other thinkers believe there is no cause, there is no reason, just exist. Although religious people give different interpretations according to their belief. Then another group, that is Buddhism. Buddhism says there is no beginning at all. These are the three groups. One group says everything is created by a God. Another group says there is nobody to create but just exist and disappear. But the Buddha says there is no beginning. Now let us discuss why it is necessary for us to find out whether there is any beginning or not. The Buddha asked this question. When somebody came and posed this question to the Buddha, he asked, why do you want to know this? What do you gain by knowing whether there is a beginning or not? Do you think that knowledge can contribute for you to lead a religious life? Do you think you can discipline your mind to be religious, to be noble, to see the end of your suffering by knowing the beginning of your life and the world? These are the arguments. Then the Buddha says, your duty is to understand what this life is. Then there are various other discourses, such as Aganya Sutta, Brahmajala Sutta, and many others. The Buddha had to touch upon regarding this subject because his way of discussing religious subjects depend on the mentality, the understanding capacity, intelligence, emotions he considered all these mental attitudes before he answered. That is why he had to keep quiet when certain questions were put to the Buddha. Because he knew the questioner cannot understand the answer, create more confusion if he said something. To those who can understand, then he has explained. What is the interpretation given by the Buddha in Aganya Sutta regarding the beginning of this world and the life? Because some people believe that the Buddha did not say anything about the beginning of life or the world. He says, this world cycle, one world cycle, one world system, take only this particular planet or globe, divided into 4 periods. Existence, decaying, dissolution, and emptiness. These are the 4 periods. Today, we exist. The world exists. Universes exist, not only one universe. Few thousand years ago, many people had no knowledge about the other world system. To them, this is the whole world, whole universe. They concentrated only about this life and this world. That is why they say, at once this world and this life were created by a creator. H.G. Wells, a well-known historian, regarded as very highly intellectual personality. He says, we were taught that this world was created about 6,000 to 7,000 years ago. But when you study geology or geography, we can understand it has taken millions of years for this globe to cool down, to settle down. Then few more millions of years for life to originate. Therefore, how can we believe that everything was created about 6,000 to 7,000 years ago? This is his argument. Then Bertrand Russell, supposed to be a well-known philosopher in the West, he does not like any religion. He hates every religion. Agnostic. He says, there is no reason whatsoever for us to find out there is a beginning here in this world. If we try to point out a beginning, that shows our poor imagination regarding this world. Again he says, amongst the founders of all those religions, I respect only one man. He is the Buddha. Why do I respect him? He is the only one who did not make false statement about the origin of this world. But all the others said something about the beginning. It shows how poor their understanding capacity about this world. Therefore, I respect the Buddha. This is the way how they define. He also says, people believe that this world and this life were created by someone, created by God. According to my understanding, actually, this world was not created by a God. This world was created by a devil when God was looking somewhere else. If God knew that devil is going to create this world like this, God doesn't allow such a miserable, horrible life and the world. A preacher, when he was giving a talk about the beginning of this world, he started his talk at the beginning when God started to create heaven and earth. Then suddenly somebody got up and asked, may I know what was he doing before he started to create heaven and earth? It's not an easy question to answer. Then the speaker said, I think at that time he was creating hell for those who ask this kind of questions. Because there is no answer to this question. So, still I did not explain how the Buddha has defined and analyzed the world into 4 periods. Now we are experiencing worldly condition, worldly life, pleasant and unpleasant feeling. Throughout our life, we are struggling for our survival. But we are not happy. We do not know why we are here in this world. We do not know why we are not happy with this life and with this world. We do not know where the mistake is. That is called ignorance. We are all ignorant, including me. Don't think we are wise. That is called ignorance. It is due to lack of this understanding we create our own imaginations. Some people say we must suffer. Without suffering, we cannot go to heaven. Why is it necessary to suffer? If there is anybody to create us, if his mission, if his wish is to send us to heaven, then what is the difficulty for him to create us at once in heaven? Instead of allowing us to suffer like this, there must be something. These are the arguments. That is why many people cannot satisfy with all sorts of interpretations, definitions that many religions try to contribute as beginning of life and the world. Buddhism is known as a scientific religion. why it is known as scientific religion. Whenever scientists discover anything, any new discoveries, when we compare their discoveries with the science, there is no contradiction with the Buddha's teaching. But you can find a lot of contradiction with Buddhism. I have to define the difference between the Buddha's teachings and Buddhism. Buddhism is organized by us, not by the Buddha. According to our satisfaction, according to our way of thinking, according to our traditions and customs and culture and way of life, we organize a religion. And in that religion, you can find the Buddha's teachings also. That is called Buddhism. Now I am talking directly about the Buddha's teaching, not about Buddhism. What is recorded in the basic teachings of the Buddha. But in Buddhism, you can find so many books, commentaries, sub-commentaries written by Buddhist writers, Buddhist scholars. There you can find a lot of conflicts, contradictions, misinterpretations. That is why they are divided into different schools. They have different concepts, different beliefs. But even then, the basic teachings still remains there. Sometimes we feel the difficulty of finding what are the basic teachings of the Buddha and what are the interpretations given by different masters and scholars and writers. So it has become a concoction of various beliefs and traditions. Then in Aganya Sutta, the Buddha says, first period, the world come into existence. Then how does it come into existence? Who is responsible for that? Whether there is anybody to plan this. According to the Buddha, there is nobody. There is no end of the world cycle and universes. Infinite. World systems always exist in this universe. Life always exists in this universe. That is why it is difficult to find out the beginning of a life. I can give a simple example. Can you ask one glass of water? Now you want to find out a beginning of a river. You go on surveying, climbing hills and rocks and mountains, and found out the water dripping from the bottom of a rock or the mountain. That is the beginning of a river. Later, turn into a river. Then you found out the beginning of the river. You satisfy. Then some others say, this is not the beginning of this river. Then they realize the accumulated water on the top of the hill or the rocks dripping. So this is not the beginning. Bottom is not the beginning, the top is the beginning. Then some others say, we cannot believe that this is the beginning. And how this water accumulated there on the top of the rock or the hill. Then they realized rainwater. Rainwater is responsible for that. That is the beginning of the river. Then some others asked, how this rainwater originated? Scientifically you analyze combinations of this and that, you have your own interpretation. And we can understand the sunlight, evaporated water, again mix up with the cloud and converted, and with the combinations of all these words, oxygens and this and that, drop. Then the water taken from the same river, evaporated from the same river, again can come back through these channels. Now we are at the beginning of the river. We had to come back to the same river as the origin of this river. Think for a while. That is why the Buddha says, life cycle, wheel of existence. There is no beginning. It is a wheel, goes one round, and whatever we discovered as origin can become the end. Whatever we discovered as the end can become the origin, beginning. So when you refer to Albert Einstein's relativity, 2,500 years ago, Buddha has given a better explanations about relativity. When you study Paticca Samuppada, dependent upon origination, he has explained the 12 links, how one depends on the other. All are interrelated. It is impossible for anything to exist in this world without depending on something else. Take different shape, different size, different color, due to various other factors, sources, thousands and millions of other sources, we do not know. This is the nature of existence. Life exists like this because of the combinations of so many elements, energies, then divided into two, mind and matter. Mind analyzed again into four mental energies, four mental faculties. People know only about mind, but they do not know how to analyze the nature of the mental energy, feeling, perception, mental tendencies, mental habits, based on good and bad karmic energies, habits, consciousness. Four mental faculties contribute separately, again joined together. Then four energies, solidity, fluidity, heat, motion. Four elements. All are energies. Elements also start from energies. Matter or element is known as crystallized energy. When energy is crystallized, turn into matter or element. So originated from energies. This is the combinations of all these energies and elements. Then where is the binding factors? Who is the person who molded this one? That is what many people cannot understand. The Buddha has given the interpretation. The main reason is nothing but our own craving for existence, craving for pleasure, craving for non-existence. There are three kinds of craving. If you can understand the nature of these three kinds of craving that we maintain, there is no reason for us to blame either God or devils when we are in trouble. Craving for existence is very, very grave, deeply rooted, even at the cost of millions of others' lives. One person tries to save his or her own life. Craving for existence. By adopting any kind of crooked, vulgar, wicked, dangerous method, people can do anything for their survival. That is called craving for existence. Craving for pleasure. We like to indulge our six senses. We have become slaves to our own senses. We have forgotten the purpose of our life is not indulgence or sensual pleasure. The fleeting nature of pleasure creates more worries, more disturbances, excitement, disappointment, frustration. This is the nature of pleasure. Whole world is a battlefield today because of this. Human beings, animals, all are fighting, killing each other because of this craving, not because of God or devil. Craving for non-existent. Then you can ask, how can we interpret this as a craving? This craving is more strong than the other two. When we experience intolerable, unbearable disappointment, miseries and worries and disappointment, we decide to commit suicide. Craving for non-existence. Is it not craving? It is called unsatisfied craving. When you could not satisfy your craving, you had no courage to tolerate, to face. Then you decide to commit suicide. Craving for non-existence. Another interpretation. Those who strongly believe this is the only life, there is nothing hereafter. We don't believe there will be anything, either heaven or hell or anything. That is also craving for non-existence. Now these are the three causes, main reason given by the Buddha as main cause of our existence. And we existed. We are the result of what we were. Think. We will be the result of what we are. the Buddha says, in Dhammapada, the first stanza. Pleasant and unpleasant experience, miserable or favorable or pleasant life, fortunate or unfortunate life, we experience due to our previous activities, how we have used our mind, our word, our action during our previous birth. And this life is molded according to our mentality, our way of life, purity or impurity of our mind. So this life becomes miserable or pleasurable life due to our previous existence. Not because of the original sin. There is no such thing as original sin. Every day we are sinning. There is no such thing as original sin. I will explain this later. Then, scientific analysis of the existence of the world. Today, Sunday Mail, there is an article written by a Muslim from Penang, Buddhism and Science. Directly he has pointed out how Buddhism can agree with science. Please try to read that article. Scientists also believe the existence of matters and elements and the world and life, everything originated from atom. Again they analyze this. Electron, neutron, proton, this ton, that ton, there are tons of trons now. Later they will discover so many other tons also. There are many unknown things in this world. Now, their analysis is this. Why world situation, world conditions and the climates and everything are slowly going on changing in this world? Many people experience in many parts of the world. Everything is going on changing. This is proton started to fade away. Combinations of electron, proton, neutron balance everything for the existence smoothly. When one of these items cannot balance, cooperate with the others, lot of changes take place. When one particular energy started to fade away, then the others also slowly start to decay. This is scientific analysis. Now let us refer to the Buddha. What he has said this 2,500 years ago. He said, combinations take place due to these four elements and four mental energies about life. And other things like plants and so many other things. There we cannot find those mental faculties. But you can find so many kind of energies and elements. Let us take plant life. Now if we suffer today, sicknesses, old age, worries and death, due to our original sin, then what about the plant life? You can see sicknesses in plant life also. You can see old age in plant life. You can see decay. You can see death. Do you think that plant also suffer due to original sin? This is called natural occurrence. That is what the Buddha pointed out. Nobody else is responsible for our problems and decaying and death. For our existence, our own craving is responsible. So, these energies, at the beginning, all are energies, no matters, later converted into matters and elements, got fantastic magnetic powers that we cannot understand. The first world system, that which existed, completely disintegrated, dissolved, disappeared. But not the whole universe, please remember this. There is nobody to destroy this world. It is natural. But today, the behavior of mankind, the mentality of human beings, and the danger and selfishness and cruelty and cunningness in the man's mind, I think if there is anybody to destroy this world, neither God nor devil but man. He is the one who can destroy this world. It's so dangerous, so poisonous. Human mind is such. We use religion only for the name's sake. In fact, today we use religion just to argue and fight, not to cultivate man's way of life, not for the spiritual development, not for the discipline, not for the mental purity, to gain more power, worldly power, political power, gain more income, to be very rich. Real essence of religion from every religion, including Buddhism. No more, actually speaking. We use religion only for the name's sake. Mind is corrupted, polluted. We blame God, we blame devil. We are very clever. We make mistake, we blame devil. So, all those dispersed particles from the world cycle which existed, which was dissolved and disintegrated, after some time again start to accumulate all these molecules and dispersed particles, then the energies. Then the formation again take place. We do not know how many millions or billions or trillions of years. Incalculable. Now this is the way how Buddha has explained. After this formation, again, it will take many more millions of years to settle down everything. That is what S.G. Wells says. That is the second period. Then the third period, everything is favorable. Life is originated, and so many other things, not only life. This is the third period. After this, the fourth period, as scientists have discovered, start to decay. Going on decaying. Nobody in this world who can stop this. It is natural. Then again come to an end. Dissolutions, and no more. This particular world cycle, but so many others exist. So just now I told you, the Buddha's interpretations of the beginning of the world start from there, but that is not the beginning. Reappearance, life reappears, world cycle reappears, but many others exist, and they are also under the universal law of impermanence. Suns and the moons and galaxies and so many other universes also under the same impermanency, not permanent. The Buddha says in another discourse, there are thousands of suns, thousands of moons. People laugh at him when he said like this. We have got thousands. This is our mentality. And today, astronomers, scientists have discovered, yes, there are many suns and many moons. They have seen some of them. In Dhammacakka Sutta, Mahasamaya Sutta, in these discourses, you can see these words, Dasa Sahassi Loka Dhatu, 10,000 world system, living beings of 10,000 world system. He mentioned this on many occasions, but people could not understand. Today, scientists also strongly believe, but still they could not prove, that there are living beings. Definitely, they do exist in various other planets. One day they may discover. When the Buddha said earlier, people could not believe. That is why I told you, whatever they discover, they come closer to the Buddha, what he has said. Then we realize, oh yes, what the Buddha has said is true. Otherwise, we cannot understand. Now, the origin of life, human life, that is the biggest problem now. How this life was originated? When this world was empty. In Aganya Sutta, it is mentioned, when everything is favorable here on this earth, two Brahmas from another planet in Brahma realm, Devas and Brahmas, they are called supernatural living beings. They do exist. Two of them, they have some sort of miraculous power, travel in the air and all sort of luminous bodies. So there is something here. For curiosity's sake, they wanted to come down. Two of them. Then, do you know their way of life? They do not take a solid food just like human beings or animals.